Hey guys, it's Jordan, and today I'm going to be talking about convention tips and tricks. Now, before I get started, I just want to say that I've only been to like 6 or 7 conventions, so I'm not a professional or anything like that, but I do have a couple of tips and tricks that I think might help some people, and I think that would help me for my first convention. So first and foremost, eating and drinking is a huge deal, and it should be your number one priority. I'm really bad about getting dehydrated at conventions because I get so caught up in everything and I just kind of forget to eat and drink. So I recommend keeping water bottles and snacks on you at all times. I usually carry on a book bag, and I think it's super duper important to keep yourself hydrated because you can't really enjoy your convention if you're passing out. Number 2 is to stay safe. You always want to be in a group of people because even if you aren't cosplaying, there are some weird people out there and they don't always respect people. So I recommend staying in a group of people. If you can't stay in a group, at least have a partner. Buddy system works really good at conventions, especially if you're going with a friend and you guys are there for the same thing. Panels, conventions, everything works better. Number 3 is to make a schedule. Scheduling is so important at conventions, especially if you want to meet more than one person. In my opinion, I usually only go to small cons for certain people, but when it comes to bigger conventions, then obviously I'm going for more than one person. So I like to write out all of the panels that I want to go to, all the times, all the photo op times, all of the autographs, all of the vendors that I want to go to, and always write down when you have time to eat and take a break because you don't want to be constantly going and going and going. Also, to go along with that is you want to take breaks. You don't want to be constantly going to panel after panel after panel. It'll get old really quickly and you'll get tired a lot quicker, and it just kind of ruins the whole thing. I mean, obviously, if there's a couple panels that you want to go to that are right after another, that's fine. But don't make your whole con experience about focusing on panels and panels and panels, because then you don't have time to do all the other stuff. And there's so much stuff to do at cons that you just want to be able to experience everything. Along with scheduling, you want to arrive early to anything and everything if possible, especially autographs and photo ops, because sometimes they do start earlier, sometimes they start later, but it's always better to be ready and there if something were to happen or if the celebrity or whoever might need to do something earlier, because their schedule is always going to be before yours no matter what. This also going along with scheduling, so this whole thing has been about scheduling pretty much. You want to make sure that you have time to get ready in the morning. If you're going to cosplay, I give myself like 2 hours to get ready. Even if I know the cosplay is only going to take me like 30 minutes, I like to have a lot of time because you never know, something could go wrong. Stuff tends to go wrong, especially when you don't need it to. So I recommend giving yourself more time than you think you're going to need for anything and everything when it comes to scheduling. So more time for lunch, more time for getting into panels, more times to getting to the convention itself. It's a really tedious process, and it varies for every con. I know a lot of conventions actually put up their schedule for certain people. So like if the last convention I went to, it had multiple like shows and fandoms at each one, and so they had written out like each individual scheduled for like this fandom had this panel at this time and this time and this time, which was super duper cool, and that's what I recommend doing, especially if you're going for 2 different things, so that you can like look at each time to make sure none of them are overlapping, and if you need to leave one panel early to get to the other one, and all of that stuff. I highly recommend buying tickets in advance if you can. For big conventions, I buy my tickets like months to even a year in advance if I can. That's for like my my creation and like Salute Supernatural conventions. I buy those super duper early because that's when they're the cheapest, that's when they're going to sell out, and you want to get the ones that you want to get. If it's a small con and you're only going for 1 or 2 days and you want to buy your tickets at the con, then I recommend bringing more money than you think you're going to need, because unfortunately, I've had times when I've gotten there and they have said, you know, you're going to be able to buy these at the regular price when you get there, and then they bumped it up like $20, which sucks, but it happens, and it's always better to be prepared, and even if they don't do that, then you have extra money for extra stuff. Going along with money, I recommend bringing quite a bit of money, but not so much that you have, like, temptations to buy everything, which you're gonna have temptations to buy everything. Trust me, no matter how good you are with money, I personally am really good with money in my opinion. I have a job, so I work for my money, and so I'm really tedious with my money, and I don't spend it, and then I get the cons, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy everything, which, it's just the con fever, it happens to everybody, but I recommend trying not to do that, because, one, after the con, you're gonna be like, holy shit, I just spent all of my money, how am I going to afford to do anything? And two, you're gonna want to go to another con. After one con, trust me, you're gonna want to go to another. And if you spend all your money on this one con, you're gonna be like, what? I can't buy any other con tickets for another year or something. It depends, but that sucks. It's all up to you what you decide to do with it, but that's just my opinion. If you are cosplaying, which I do sometimes, not always, but when I do, I always bring makeup, extra makeup, especially if I'm doing face paint or if I'm doing like some kind of FX makeup or something. Always bring extra makeup. If you guys want me to do a video on what to bring to cons, like extra stuff that you need in your backpack and stuff, let me know down in the comments and I can make a video like that. That'd be fine with me. I just need to know. Even if you're not cosplaying, I recommend bringing some touch-up makeup if you're wearing makeup. If you're not, good for you. You rock on that. But I wear makeup. So I like to bring touch-up makeup for photo ops and stuff, which is obviously not required, but that's just what I like to do. And, so yeah. And my last tip is to not be nervous and have fun. This is probably going to be the most difficult one for everybody because even though I have been to conventions and I'm in my most comforted zone and I'm in my most confident when I'm cosplaying and when I'm around other nerds like me and I am just in the zone and happy, I still get nervous, especially when I'm meeting people that I admire and that I idolize. Like last week when I met Felicia Day, I've never cried that much in front of somebody. I just, don't be nervous because these people, that's what they are there for. They are here to meet you just as much as you are there to meet them. But also, don't be nervous or concerned even if you are. I'm so emotional. I'm a super duper emotional person and I cry at just about everything, and I'm also really loud and obnoxious, and don't be scared to be yourself around them. Don't be too rambunctious. Don't treat them like they're any different than you. They are just people. So, I'm sorry for rambling. I know I ramble a lot, and I probably made, no sense. But if you enjoyed, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, let me know what you thought. Are you going to any conventions this year, next year, tomorrow? Let me know. Put it in the comments, let me know what convention you're going to, what you're going for. Are you going to cosplay? Let me know what you're going to cosplay as. You guys can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all of that fun stuff, see all my cosplays and my convention adventures, and I will see you guys the next time I make a video. Bye!